at, I think it was like, dude, it was like 1 in the morning when I was watching it. I think he did one at like 4 a.m. when the news dropped. Yeah, I wasn't doing that. And the reason it took me so long to appear live today was because I was at the Phillies game yesterday, and I may or may not have consumed 4 double tequila sodas. So we're feeling a little bit under the weather today, all right? But there's definitely some things for us to talk about. And speaking of me being at a Phillies game and drinking 4 double tequila sodas, this is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time Ticket App. Game Time Ticket App is the app where tickets get cheaper the closer you get to the event. NBA season is over. It's time to go to baseball games and drink 4 double tequila sodas while you're there, okay? I was just at the Phillies game. It was a blast. I got my tickets on Game Time app. Here's how the website works. You check it out right here. It shows you flash deals, cheapest price available, all types of things like that. It'll show you the view of your seat for the ticket that you want. But the longer you wait, the cheaper it gets, up to 60% off. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Game Time will not save you money on the double tequila sodas, though. I did spend $125 on drinks at the Phillies game. So there's that. But your tickets will be cheap if you use Game Time. It is what it is, man. Once you're in there, you're like, yeah, give me what I want, man. Whatever. Shout out to my man A member of the channel for 27 months. I will no longer call Daryl Murray a fraud anymore. I'm happy. He's not done making moves yet, but with the things that have happened, I will say shout out to Daryl Murray for being patient. I'll probably never understand holding on to Tobias Harris for 5 years and then just letting him walk anyway. He had opportunities to trade him. He never wanted to try. It's all about cap space. He the last 2 years, I think he was like, we'll just let the contract expire and we'll get $40 million in cap space. I understand it. But yeah, Daryl Morey's been on a heater. As soon as free agency opened up, Daryl Murray started cooking. And I got to give him credit, for landing the guys that he landed. Of course, number one, the first thing we're going to talk about. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, I lost it already. Hold up. Maybe I should have waited till 3 p.m. to go live to get my brain back to functioning order. Paul George. Let's talk about Paul George. Let's talk about the Paul George signing and what I think about it. Okay. Oh, look. Another Jared McCain TikTok. Thank you so much, Twitter, for that. It's like a bad car accident that just won't go away. Okay. Here we go. Paul George agrees on a 4-year, $212 million maximum contract with the Philadelphia 76ers, sources tell ESPN. George committed in a meeting with the Sixers officials and returned east to join Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey in pursuit of an NBA title. It's really crazy, honestly. Like, I didn't think it was going to happen. For whatever reason, the Clippers were like, we're not giving him a 4-year max. I understand they didn't want to pay him more than they paid Kawhi. Again, there's some politics involved there, and I think that, they thought maybe that Paul George was going to sign for that about 3-year, $150 million contract like Kawhi Leonard signed for. And Paul George was like, nah, if somebody's going to offer me a max, I'm going to go get it. And I remember saying several times that if Paul George is leaving LA and he's looking for a GM that will offer him a max contract, there's only a couple teams that could offer it. It came down to Philly and Orlando, and I knew Daryl Morey was going to offer it. We basically knew it. We knew Daryl Morey was going to offer that contract to Paul George. And right when free agency started and the rumors came out that Paul George is opting out of his player option and becoming an unrestricted free agent, Daryl Murray was like, put it on the table. Tell him we're in. And he did it. And Paul said, you know what? I'll take the money. Not just take the money, though. Really, when you look at Paul George at 34 years old, declining athletically, but as a player like that gets on the other side of his prime, you know, he still brings a lot to the table. He's still really, really good. So for Paul George, he was probably looking at it like, you know, this is probably the last contract of my career. I'm not a number one superstar anymore. I'm not a number one option superstar anymore. He's not stupid. He knows that. And so he probably felt like it's a perfect scenario for him to get the most money and to be able to be the older version of himself and be a third option on a team with a very young all-star and an MVP when he's healthy. So I really do think it wasn't just the money. You know, I think Paul George really thinks he's going to fit well in Philly. He's going to feed off of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and get the ball when he wants to. And he has a chance to win a championship. I think those three things are the reason that Paul George signed the contract, you know. So it all just kind of worked out perfectly, really. The situation worked out perfectly, and Paul George signed it, man. So the Sixers got their third option. And no matter what you think about Paul George's age, 34 years old, does he show up big time in the playoffs? He hasn't recently. You still have to look at it from a very simple point of view, and that is, how close were the Sixers to contending last season with a third option who was giving you absolutely nothing? Essentially, you replaced Tobias Harris with the best catch-and-shoot three-point shooter in the entire NBA last season. Paul George was about over 8 attempts per game at 41.4% from three last season. And actually, that's just iso ball, or that was the totality of his percentage. He was 45.4% on catch and shoot three-pointers last season. What is the exact player you would want to put next to a combo perimeter creating guard who's a really good three-point shooter in Tyrese Maxey and a center who needs space? You want to put next to them a catch and shoot three-point shooter who's upwards of 45% on catch and shoot threes. He still has some defensive ability left in his game. He still has some ISO creation left in his game. Yeah, it's not superstar Paul George, but it's still really, really, really good as your third scorer. And if you just look at it as you replace Tobias Harris with a guy that Tobias Harris would aspire to be, then I don't know how you can complain about this. Is it a massive overpay? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But you had to do it. And the Sixers are going to go try to chase the championship this upcoming season and next season. And, you know, if the back end of that Paul George contract ends up being terrible, that's just the risk that you take in this business. You can't sit around and say, we're not going to put the money up there because we don't want the last 2 years of this contract to be terrible. You just can't do it. You got to go try to win. Again, when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008, did they really give a shit that Ryan Howard sucked in 2011 and was being paid $25 million? No, because they went to back-to-back World Series and won one of them. You know, and Sixers fans deserve a damn parade down Broad Street. And what Daryl Murray did with this signing was give the 76ers the best opportunity to make that happen with the options that were available. So, yes, massive overpay. Yes, the last 2 years of the contract might be terrible. You know, Paul George could fall off a cliff skill-wise at 37 years old. and you would owe him $50 million a year. But again, it's the risk that you take to try to win a championship in the Joel Embiid era. And at the same time, guys, listen. Joel Embiid might be damn retired in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? We just watched him again this offseason. We just watched him again this season. I don't know how much more the guy's knees can take. You know, so swing for the fences for 2 years, man, and take some chances and live with the results. You know what I mean? 950 people in here. Give me 1,000 likes on the stream. Let's break 1,000 live viewers. Shout out to Shiro LK with a super chat. Hey, Eastwood, I'm watching all your streams from Germany. That was one of the better off seasons so far. Who would be your guy for the 4 spot? My guy for the 4 spot right now, with the Philadelphia 76ers still having multiple first-round picks to trade, is Dorian Finney-Smith, a known dog perimeter defender who's also a floor-stretching three-point shooter. I think Dorian Finney-Smith would be absolutely perfect in that 4 spot. You know, and the Nets trading Mikal Bridges, I would assume they're going to trade Dorian Finney-Smith. I would assume they're going to trade anybody that has value that can get them first-round picks in return. I don't care about picks anymore. Give up 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith right now. The 2028 unprotected Clippers pick is looking more and more valuable at the same time, right? So make some trades, but at the end of the day, try your best, Daryl, to not get rid of that 2028 unprotected first-round Clippers pick, because the Clippers are going to be underneath the basement by 2028. James Harden just re-signed with the Clippers for a deal cheaper than Drew Holiday signed with the Celtics. You know what I mean? James Harden forces his way out of Philly because he wants a max contract. We're right the whole time. He doesn't understand that he's not worth a max contract anymore. James Harden was the only person alive that thought he was worth a max contract at that time when he forced his way out of the Sixers. And he goes and he signs with the Clippers for 2 years, what? 20 million a year, something like that. 37 million for 2 years, like 18 mil, bro, for James Harden. You know what I mean? So, dude, Harden's on his way out. Kawhi's on his way out. The Clippers are going to be very bad in 2028. So, you know, we'll see what moves Daryl continues to make, but I would definitely like for him to try his best to hold on to that 2028 unprotected Clippers pick. Lauri Markkanen, I guess, is still a thing that in a fantasy land, you know, could happen. But has 1 year left on his contract, and you would need to pay him, and Lauri Markkanen's going to get a max wherever he ends up going. And you can't pay all 4 of those guys unless Josh Harris would be willing to go massively into the luxury tax like the Golden State Warriors did for a couple years and led the league in luxury tax, and we're almost paying $1 billion out of pocket. I don't see Josh Harris doing that. As much as a Lauri Markkanen trade would stack the deck and would make the Sixers a solidified contender for the next couple of years, I don't think Josh Harris cares actually enough about winning in basketball to go that far into the luxury tax and have 4 max contracts on your roster. If you can even have, I don't even think you can have 4 max contracts. There's probably a CBA, something that would prevent that in the first place. But there you have it, man. There you have it. Paul George signed with the Sixers. This is, on paper, the best roster that has been put around Joel Embiid in his 8-year career. I mean, it's not even close. You know, it's not even close. There is a lot of talent on this team, and this is a legitimate championship contender now. You know, of course, the Boston Celtics are the powerhouse, and that's the team you want to compete with, but I think this move definitely put the Sixers ahead of the Bucks, ahead of the Knicks. Fuck you, Knicks fans. Ahead of the Pacers. I think they're right there with the Boston Celtics, and I think, you know, there's a lot of pressure now too, right? Because this upcoming season, man, anything short of Eastern Conference Finals would be a fail after giving Paul George a max contract. So, yeah, Daryl did things, guys. He did things. I was sitting back like I just had this bad feeling that once again we were going to sit all off season and see Daryl Morey make a bunch of little marginal moves, a couple of veteran minimums and not much else. And he came through for us, man. He came through for us. And I got to give him credit. This was the first time that Daryl Morey had pieces to work with. This was the first time since he's been the president of basketball operations that he's had cap space and tradable first-round picks and didn't have a bunch of bad contracts on the roster. Remember, he came in, he had to get rid of the Al Horford contract. Then he came in and had to trade Ben Simmons. Yeah, he fucked up with the James Harden thing, but he flipped James Harden for some first-round picks from the Clippers. You got to give him credit for that. His obsession with 90-year-old Houston Rockets players is still running rampant somehow. So the PJ Tucker contract was terrible. The Daniel House Jr. got caught tampering and lost 2 second-round picks. So he did a lot of things that pissed me off. He didn't do everything perfect. You know what I mean? But one thing Daryl Morey does is he swings for the fences, and he's going to swing and miss sometimes. And he swung for the fences on this one, man. This is just absolutely massive for the Sixers, for the city of Philadelphia. Now even the Fairweather fans are putting the Sixers in the same conversation as the Phillies and the Eagles. Everyone's happy now. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork. They're reaching for their Sixers jerseys at the back of their closet. It's great, man. Good time to be alive. Good time to be alive, and I didn't know the Sixers would get me excited for the upcoming season. They did it again. You know what, Josh Harris? If they don't win anything and all you did was sold me some hope again, kudos to you. Because what happened? 3 years ago, fail. Okay, James Harden had a bad hamstring. We're going to try again. We try again, fail. Okay, we're going to fire Doc Rivers, bring in Nick Nurse. Now we're back in again, right? They fall flat on their face in the playoffs. What's left? I thought there was nothing left that the Sixers could do to get me back invested and really believe that they have a chance. And they pull this off. And again, if it ends up stabbing me in the heart, like it probably will, kudos to you for selling me hope once again. They signed Paul George, and I'm officially back in. I'm ready to get heartbroken again, man. What about you guys, man? Taz Journey, thanks for being a member of the channel. Not going to lie, I'm tired of getting these old stars. We ain't getting out the first round with Paul George. We get rid of one big contract to get another one. Not getting out of the first round with Paul George. Taz, I got to be honest with you, man. I don't know how you look at assuming health. Assuming health. I don't even know, even without Paul George, assuming health, Joel Embiid healthy, the Sixers are getting out of the first round. It's not every year you play the New York Knicks in the first round. That was because of Joel Embiid's meniscus tear that they ended up the 8th seed and playing the 7th seed and playing the Knicks in the first round. The Knicks were the best defense in the league at the time. And it was a very unfortunate matchup. Healthy Joel Embiid takes the Sixers out of the first round with any team. You could put 4 kids from the movie The Ringer on the floor around healthy Joel Embiid. They're getting out of the first round. Give me year 5 Tyrese Maxey. Year 5 Tyrese. We're not even talking enough about how much Tyrese Maxey is going to cook this upcoming season. And then you add Paul George. Yeah, he's aging. Yeah, he's declining. But last year, he was the number 1 catch and shoot 3-point shooter in the entire NBA at 45%. So I don't know how you could possibly look at that and say this team's not getting out of the first round. With all due respect, That is insane, what you just said to me. With all due respect, of course. DJ, you know what I'm happy about? God forbid if Embiid gets hurt, Paul George is now a second option with Maxey, and Maxey don't have to carry the load anymore. Yeah, I mean, no. The Sixers still aren't winning anything if Joel Embiid gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? I would understand if you're talking about like a month of the season, if Joel has a bad ankle sprain or something like that, and there's that month of the season, you know, I guess Paul George and Tyrese Maxey wouldn't fall off as fast as the Sixers fell off last season with Joel Embiid's injury, because you're right, Maxey trying to carry the team by himself. They lost a lot of games, you know, because Tobias Harris was absolute trash truck juice as a second option in that, or a third option, really. Kelly Oubre was a second option. So, yeah, I at the same time, I agree with you that, you know, if Joel misses time like he does every season, Maxey doesn't have to carry the load by himself, and Paul George is, you know, a very good player. I'm saying, like, yeah, they wouldn't fall from the second seed to the 8th seed or whatever they did last season as fast as they did. But if you're talking about the playoffs and you're talking about getting to the promised land, you know, they're still not going anywhere if Joel Embiid's not healthy. That'll always be it. Jeff Peterson, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Yeah. 100% agree. Sixers fan base is desperate every year. They are never winning a championship, cutting young players after young players. You guys are absolutely fucking insane. NBA fans, they want you to keep all your young players. They want you to keep all your draft picks. They want you to keep all your cap space forever. But they still want to win a championship somehow. And then you'll complain that the Sixers are never good enough to contend, but they have all the draft picks and all the cap space in the world. You know, what do you want, man? What do you want? Do you want a cap space championship? You want that cap space trophy to put in the back of your house? Is that what you want? You want draft picks and cap space trophies, or do you want championships, man? What do you want, man? Can't have it both. Can't have it both ways, man. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to date a supermodel and you don't want to spend any money. That's what you're doing right now, bro. You're asking a high maintenance girl out to dinner and you try and take her to Wendy's, bro. You got to spend the money. She ain't showing up to Wendy's, dog. I love Wendy's, actually. Dave Double. I'll take one right now. Let's move on, guys. Na 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 na. Hey, goodbye. Na 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 na. Go end your career in fucking Detroit like a loser. See you later, Tobias Harris. I wish you nothing but misery. I wish you nothing but turmoil and misery. Tobias Harris is gone. We no longer have to watch the softest max contract NBA player I've ever seen in my entire life. Actually, that was Ben Simmons. But he's gone. Tobias Harris signs with the Detroit Pistons. And you know, we ended up being right. Daryl kept Tobias because he wanted to clear that cap space. So we had this irrational fear in the back of our minds that, oh my God, but what if he actually re-signs Tobias? What if he re-signs Tobias? Daryl finally let his boyfriend go. He finally let his side piece, you know, James Harden was his main bitch. Tobias Harris was his side piece. He finally let his side piece walk out the door. Tobias Harris goes and signs with the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons. Oh, Dude, imagine being a Pistons fan, bro. Imagine you're sitting around at free agency and what your team did after having the worst record in league history last year at like 2-80. They signed Tobias Harris. Imagine being a Pistons fan, bro. Imagine you're looking at Twitter like, oh, hopefully the Pistons do something to make themselves better than the worst team of all time. They give Tobias Harris $52 million. This guy just got $26 million a season to be garbage. Do you understand how garbage he was last year? Garbage. I'm talking like below league average 3-point shooting. His finishing at the rim percentage was absolutely horrendous. He's one of the worst like dunk layup guys at 6'9" I have ever seen in my life. He fades away from contact. He does stupid little Euro step floaters instead of going through defenders and drawing fouls. He's never taken a charge. He's never dove for a loose ball. He is so fucking bad. And the energy that he brings to your team is terrible. I'm telling you for free, I didn't want Tobias Harris back. There was some of these crazy fans that were like, we should re-sign him on a cheaper deal. For what? The guy's awful, man. All right? And then guess what? Last season, he has an ankle jam, and we're all sarcastically celebrating an injury. I don't like to celebrate injuries, but we were so happy to watch the Sixers play basketball without this loser on the floor, and they were great as soon as he got hurt. And then he gets healthy, and he's back in the lineup playing 40 minutes a game, ruining everything. I don't know why the Detroit Pistons paid him. I have no idea what they see in Tobias Harris, but thank you, Detroit Pistons, for sucking that bad. That not only do you suck at basketball, you suck at rebuilding, you suck at tanking. You can't even tank right, bro. And now you suck at off-season deals. Thank you, Detroit Pistons, for sucking as much as you do. What's the worst run franchise in the NBA right now? It's actually not the Detroit Pistons. It's the Chicago Bulls. Surprised the Bulls didn't sign Tobias Harris. There's a rumor right now that DeMar DeRozan does not want to return to the Chicago Bulls. They traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. The only player that they could attach to Zach LaVine and actually get him traded was Alex Caruso. But instead, they trade Alex Caruso straight up for Josh Giddey. That is absolutely insane. Now they pissed off DeMar DeRozan. He wants to leave. Apparently, he is quoted as saying, Josh Giddey has a weird case. Why is he here? Players don't even want to be on the squad with Josh Giddey, bro. And then the Bulls let Andre Drummond walk for nothing. What's wrong with this team, man? Free agent Andre Drummond signs a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Last year, it was rumored they turned down multiple first-round picks for Drummond. The Chicago Bulls are allergic to getting first-round picks in trades, bro. It's insane. The Chicago Bulls have to be doing this on purpose. There's no way that whoever's in charge is making these decisions and is not joking. Like, this has to be a giant prank or something. The Alex Caruso thing for Josh Giddey is crazy, straight up. The trading him and now you can't get rid of Zach LaVine. That was the only way you could have traded him. That's crazy. You pissed off DeMar DeRozan, and then you don't even get anything in return for Andre Drummond. How are the Bulls this bad? But thank you. You know what? Thank you, Chicago. And welcome back, Andre Drummond. I love the fact that he came back. You know, I thought Andre Drummond was going to be more interested in a starting role. You know, I thought he was going to go sign with a team where he thought he could be a starting center. I'm pretty surprised, actually, that he came back to sign as a backup center for the Sixers. But, you know, Andre Drummond has said it out loud plenty of times how much he loves the city of Philadelphia, how much he loved the fans, how much he loved playing in front of the fans. And, you know, it's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. And guys like Andre Drummond get respect from Philadelphia. You know what I mean? These soft-ass little weirdos like Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, they don't get respect out here. And then the rest of the NBA world thinks, oh, Philly fans are mean. Philly fans are mean. No, we're not. We just want to see you give 110%. Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre paints his nails and hangs out on boats with, like, I don't know, probably, who's the Giants wide receiver that was on a boat with, like, Trey Songz or something? Some zesty-ass shit they were doing, you know what I mean? But on the court, he's a dog. And Philly loves that. Andre Drummond on the court, dog. If Jared McCain's a dog on the court, Philly's going to love him. I'd rather watch anything in the world than see another one of his TikToks, but it is what it is. So Andre Drummond felt that respect from Philadelphia fans because he's that guy who just going to... His per 36 rebound numbers are some of the best in history because he has that grit. He never stops. He never quits. You know, so I'm excited for Andre Drummond. That's incredible. So you shore up the backup center position again. I'm assuming this means Paul Reed's out of here. You know, I don't know why you would keep Paul Reed. You owe him $7 million. And you sign Drummond. I don't think they're going to keep Paul Reed around, especially with the kid that they drafted in the second round. Also, you know, I think that kid can probably be your third string center. So we'll probably see a Paul Reed thrown into a trade package at some point. You know, but shout out to Daryl Murray and welcome back. Welcome back, Andre Drummond, man. 1,300 people in this live stream. Thank you for being here. Taz must think Bucks, Pacers, Knicks are all better. I have no idea. I don't know, man. But you know, you see the Boston Celtics going all in. They just paid Derek White. You know, they paid Drew Holiday. They paid Jaylen Brown. Like, these teams are going all in. They're swinging for the fences. You can't be the team sitting around doing nothing. You know, you just can't be the team sitting around doing nothing. So the Sixers are swinging. The Sixers are winning. Klay Thompson is a Maverick. Klay Thompson signs with the Dallas Mavericks. Wow. Let's go read about that real quick, and then we'll talk about some of these other signings that the Sixers made, and then I'm out of here because I'm still feeling the effects from 8 shots of tequila yesterday, and I want to take a nap. Why did I just type Twitter into Twitter? You see what I'm saying, man? We're not firing on all cylinders here, dude. We're not firing on all cylinders. Woj, here we go. Klay Thompson plans to join the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million deal with a player option. That's pretty big for Klay Thompson, actually, man, because he looked completely cooked, you know, the last time he was playing. He went 0 for 10 in an elimination game. So to get a player option out of the deal is good for Klay Thompson, man. A 3-year deal is pretty wild for Klay Thompson. But again, like, you know, I know he tore his Achilles twice or whatever. He tore his ACL twice, whatever it was, one knee and then the next knee. And his recovery has been you know, it's been a long time. And ACLs can take a long time, especially when you're in your mid-30s, you know. But it's still shocking to me that he fell off as hard as he did with that. Just one of the best pure shooters we've ever seen. And I don't think a shot goes away that drastically. So I'm honestly going to predict that Klay Thompson has a pretty damn good season, catching and shooting next to Nikola. I was going to say Nikola Jokic. You know who? You know who's out there? Dallas Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard and not Kawhi Leonard. I should have got off here already. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Damn it, dude. Oh man, yesterday was wild, bro. And it was 100 degrees. It was humid as hell. I fried my brain cells yesterday at the Phillies game. I apologize. The Clippers signed DJJ, KPJ, and now close to re-signing Batum. Derek Jones Jr., Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Wait, who's KPJ? Y'all are confusing me now. I don't know who that is. Batum to the Clippers? Damn. All we got the other day was that Batum was not going to return to the Sixers. And nobody really like gave anybody a reason why, but I guess Nicolas Batum wants to be back in LA. He almost retired as soon as he got traded to the Sixers. I don't think his wife is interested in living on the East Coast. And that probably has a lot to do with it. He probably just likes living in LA. So Nicolas Batum goes back to the Clippers. That sucks, man. I liked Nicolas Batum. I liked Batum next to Joel Embiid. I thought he was great. I thought he was a great catch and shoot guy. He was a good entry pass guy. They ran the high-low. I just think he meshed really well with Joel Embiid's game, and he's a super high IQ basketball player. I definitely enjoyed watching Nicolas Batum play for the Sixers, but back to LA for Nicolas Batum. Anthony Gonzalez, as a lifelong 76ers fan, I'm most happy for our homebreed guy, number 0, Tyrese Maxey with the max. Yes, Tyrese Maxey has agreed in principle to sign a $204 million max contract. So there's that. Do I have that part up here? Where's the max he's signing at? Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon. Well, whatever. Yeah, Maxey. We knew Maxey was going to get the max. That's not really news, to be honest with you. Running back Philly, man, great content. Don't change, bro. Hopefully a healthy season, and then let's see what's possible. Best greets from Germany. Shout out to James 23 from Germany. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. We still got a couple more things to talk about. Kelly Oubre re-signs with the 76ers on a 2-year, $16.3 million deal. Congratulations, Kelly Oubre. Playing for the Charlotte Hornets almost ruined your NBA career. He literally almost did not get an NBA contract last offseason until the 76ers signed him to a minimum deal, which was like just under $3 million. He shows up to Philly on a minimum deal, absolutely embraces the city, embraces the fan base, takes on the challenge of playing in front of these hardcore sports fans, and he fucking works his ass off every single time he touches the floor. Philly fans love him because of that, and he earns himself a 2-year, $16.3 million contract. So, dude, I love to see it. I love that for Kelly Oubre. Hopefully in that 2-year, $16.3 million contract, there is in bright red letters, no riding bicycles, Kelly. You're not allowed to ride a bike for the next 2 years. I don't care if you're riding it inside your house. You're not allowed to ride a bike for the next 2 years, okay? You're not allowed to ride a scooter. You're not allowed to take a motorized cart through the grocery store. Nothing. You're not allowed to drive anything, actually. You're not even allowed to drive a car, okay? Just don't fucking hurt yourself, dude, okay? Because you're great when you don't have a cracked rib from trying to do a 360 off of a curb in the middle of Philly. Probably that's what you did, okay? Or you were downhill mountain biking or something. But I love Kelly Oubre, man. Y'all already know how I feel about Kelly Oubre. The athletic wing that the Sixers haven't had since Andre Iguodala, and he was a main priority. What we saw him bring to the table last year, we knew right when the offseason hit that the Sixers should definitely be trying to re-sign Kelly Oubre. I love it. I love the fact that he signed here. I thought he was going to maybe get offered more money from somewhere else. We'll have to, maybe some rumors will come out if he did get offered more money from somewhere else. But I was also saying, it's not just about the money for a guy like Kelly Oubre, because again, when he played for the Hornets, it exposed his game. If he takes more money to go to a terrible team, it exposes his game. Then he's just a 30% shot chucker and looks like he doesn't really have any value, and that's why he ended up almost out of the league. So he maybe could have taken more money to play on a worse team, and that could have an impact on the longevity of your career. So I think part of the reason that he comes back to Philly is because he likes his role. He knows it fits him well. He knows his job here and what to do, and it just seems like a perfect fit, and he has a chance to try to go deep into the playoffs to try to win a championship. So check it out. The Plotnik Project, thank you for a super chat. Check Vin the Insider about Sixers trading for Lauri. Vin Vosh is, I don't think that's a credible source, man. By the way, I'm blocked on Twitter by Vin Vosh, so we can't go check that. But, you know, everyone keeps sending me this guy's. What did Vin Vosh tweet? I'm blocked. That was in 2021. I've been blocked by Vin Vosh for like 4 years now. I don't even know what I said to this guy that he blocked me, but whatever. I don't think that's a credible source, man. What do you guys think, bro? We do have picks to trade, but again, you wouldn't be able to pay Lauri Markkanen, man. You can't have 4 max contracts on your roster. I don't think the Sixers can pull off a Lauri Markkanen trade. Unless they're like, you know what? Let's do it, and let's try to win while Lauri's on the last deal of his contract, and then he's going to get paid by somebody. That would legitimately be, I think, a 1-year rental at this point, because you wouldn't be able to pay him when that contract is up. And if players like OG Anunoby are getting max contracts, I think Lauri Markkanen's getting a max contract, you know. Venkata, PG was the problem. That is why Batum did re-sign now. PG was the problem? Okay. Whatever you want to think, bro. Anyway, Kelly Oubre's back. You know Daryl Murray couldn't go. He couldn't go an actual offseason without signing a 40-year-old former Rockets player. So, you know, Daryl Murray does a bunch of moves, and he still gets to do his favorite thing, which is sign old Houston Rockets players. And Eric Gordon signs, I think, on a vet minimum with the Sixers. And I don't know what Eric Gordon has left. Wasn't he just in Houston? I don't remember where Eric Gordon even was. When he was in his prime, he was really good. I don't know if he has anything left. I guess we'll see, right? So, I don't know. I don't have much to say about Eric Gordon, honestly. We'll just see what he looks like, because I have no clue. Klay Thompson got less money than Tobias. Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy. People think we should sign Miles Bridges. You know, I don't like the vibes, dude. I don't like the vibes. I don't like the Miles Bridges vibes, dude. You know, the same way players don't want to go to a team that has Josh Giddey on the roster. I don't want Miles Bridges on my roster. I don't like the energy, you know. Do people make mistakes? Yes. A lot of people like to bring up the fact that Jason Kidd smacked his wife one time and got charged with assault, and nobody talks about that anymore. People like to bring up the fact that Allen Iverson was accused before of pushing his wife against a wall or something like that. But for me, when you really read about what Miles Bridges did, what was proven in a court of law, he is a convicted felon. He got charged with felony domestic abuse. He also had 2 felony counts of child abuse that got dropped when he took the plea deal. That guy is a fucking scumbag. Okay? There's my final take on Miles Bridges. I would say I'm not going to talk about him anymore, but you guys are going to bring up his name all off season, and I don't like to do that. Again, I like to talk about players just for, you know, their basketball skills, but as far as I'm concerned, Miles Bridges is a scumbag, and I want him nowhere near my team. And if you don't like that, that's fine. But skill set wise, yeah, absolutely. Sure. You're saying all this while Gordon's on the screen. I don't know. Okay. Yes, I am saying all of this while Gordon's on the screen. What has Josh Giddey actually done? Yikes, bro. Yikes. You know, the Josh Giddey thing, bro, it's not even about committing a crime. You know what I mean? A lot of these people are like, yeah, but he wasn't charged with anything. He didn't actually commit a crime. Does that make it okay? Does that... Bro, go look at the chick looked like she was 12. You can't watch that video and read between the lines, bro, and come up with your own conclusion? Any grown-ass man hanging out with a girl that looks that young and acting the way that he was acting is a fucking creepy weirdo. Okay? There you go. Give me Bridges, even though he's a horrible person, or bring back Marcus Morris. We need a power forward and, more importantly, toughness. I'm not saying people don't deserve second chances. Most of the people in your chat had to have a second chance. He didn't hit the kids. He received that charge because of the proximity. I don't want this to turn into what Miles Bridges was charged with and what he wasn't charged with, okay? I have an 8-year-old son. It's hard for me to even get physical with my son, you know? You really want me to be real about this? It's hard for me to even actually be physical with him when I see the pain on his face, when I see the sadness in his eyes. Do you understand what I'm saying here? This guy threw pool balls at a moving vehicle with his kids inside it. Stop fucking talking to me about what he didn't do. I got to stop reading the chat. Listen, thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out. I love you all. Even if we disagree on certain things, I love you. We'll see what the Sixers continue to do.